Hello and welcome to our third tutorial covering underbasing and tips on using Photoshop with FastARTIST and FastRIP. In the first tutorial we looked at how in the Knock Me Color Out interface it was easy to change our shirt color so we could see what the finished results would look like. But we can also do this in the main Photoshop interface simply by creating a new layer to represent our shirt color. Now first I need to go to the layer menu and select new layer. Okay, we can now see this new layer down here on the right in our layer palette. I'm going to drag this layer to the bottom and then I'm going to press the Shift and F5 key together, and this will bring up this dialog, and from here I can select any color to represent my shirt. Now one point to remember here is to delete this layer before sending the job to FastRIP or FastARTIST. Okay, next we're going to take a look at anti-aliasing. Whenever we print onto a coloured shirt using a white underbase, it's important to consider these effects. Anti-aliasing is basically a technique that minimises the distortion of artifacts known as aliasing on images produced at lower resolutions. Whilst this feature is good with most other printing, when we need to produce a white underbase, the anti-aliasing technique will cause a white halo around the edge of your images. Text is a good example of this, so let's take a look at an example and ways that we can minimize these effects. If at all possible, it's recommended that you add any text objects to your shirt design in FastARTIST. This program applies text in true vector format, and this will ultimately give you the cleanest results. Of course, there are going to be occasions when this is not possible and you want to apply your text in Photoshop. When this is the case, it is best to disable the anti-aliasing feature. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and type some text on the screen here. Okay, and zoom in a little. Okay, now look at my tool options at the top of the screen. You can see with this version, Adobe Photoshop CS3, I have 5 anti-aliasing methods. With some older versions of Photoshop, there may be just an on-off checkbox, but I have 5 here, and I'm going to select none. You can see that we will end up with more noticeable jaggies around the edge of the text. However, we've eliminated the white halo issue that will be problematic for our underbase. If you find that the text quality is then not good enough, you can increase the image resolution. Go to the image menu and select image size. You can see here my current resolution is 75 dpi, so I'm going to increase this to 150 dpi. It's important not to use JPEG to save your files, as this type of compression method can reintroduce anti-aliasing. Another point to remember is that other objects such as squares and shapes you draw or paste in from other applications such as CorelDRAW will also have anti-aliasing by default. Okay, so in the previous tutorial we looked at how simple and effective the Knock Me Black and Color Out plugins are. However, there may be times when you want to directly edit the transparency underbase layer. To do this, we must first convert the transparency layer into an editable channel. So on screen I have the Creekside image from the first tutorial, and I have already run the Knock Me Blackout plugin. From here I'm going to go to the select menu and click on load selection and then click OK. Now I can return back to the select menu, only this time I will click the save selection, and from the channel menu drop down choose background copy mask and then click OK. Now if we switch to the channels view in the layer palette down here on the right, you will see I have this new layer called background copy mask. I'm going to enable it and then disable the other RGB channels. With this setup I can use any of Photoshop's tools to adjust my underbase, and to give you an example, let's go to the image menu and select adjustments, levels. From here I can manually alter the mid-tones up and down, and this will define the opacity of my underbase and how much of my shirt colour will show through in the finished print. Now once you're done making adjustments in this way, you can remove this channel if you wish, although I would point out that it's not actually essential. You could just save the file as a PSD and then bring it into FastRIP and FastARTIST, but if you want to remove it, just switch back to the layers menu and right click and select apply layer mask. So there you go, there's a way you can manually alter that underbase layer in Photoshop. Have a play with this and see what you can achieve. It will also help you to learn more about how your adjustments will affect your finished prints. Well, that concludes this third tutorial, but be sure to check out our fourth installment when we're going to be taking a look at colour management in Photoshop and FastARTIST.